Good morning, my name is Rebecca Riggs. I'm here at the Homeschool Connection in Central Florida, and we're doing an episode of What's Your Brew? And What's Your Brew? A brew is a mixture of people, events, and places that come together to make a more potent whole. So we'd like to be a part of your brew and come together more and help make your whole be so much better. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about homeschooling in difficult times. And I guess this is the topic I was thinking about it, that everybody could kind of use. Homeschooling when it gets difficult. Before we get started on that, I wanted to show you one of my favorite places. We always try to live stream from a different spot in our building. I have to show you this. This is one of my favorite places in the building. These maps are kind of special. They were my dad's from when he was a little boy. They used to get National Geographic, and I guess inside every episode of National Geographic there was a map. And so when he was growing up, he saved the maps. And one time we were moving, I don't remember how I nabbed them, but I nabbed them, and I have a whole bunch of them, and I'm super duper excited because I have a couple saved. We have these here, but I have several more. There's a whole big stack of them. And if you didn't know, I'm having a baby soon. I'm about 6 months, and I'm going to put it on the wall above the baby crib. We have this really cool, we're framing these maps. So this is one of my special places. Every time I see it, it makes me think of my dad. And that these are from the 50s and 60s that he saved. His dad and him saved these maps from National Geographic, and I think they're super cool. And these are just really cheaper frames that we did to frame them, but they're great big huge maps. We had to fold them to make him do it. So every time I come in, it makes me smile a little bit and think about him. So anyway, homeschooling during difficult times. So I think first of all, you have to realize we are all going to have a difficult time. It's just going to happen. Homeschooling is hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And no matter what you do, it's going to be hard. You're going to get discouraged. Something hard is going to happen. And it can be anything. You can get into it. I had a mom come talk to me, and this is about a year ago, and she said, homeschooling was not what I expected. I thought that my daughter was going to be excited to learn from what I read, and she was just going to come in there and want to learn and be super excited with it. And, it doesn't always work like that. We want it to work like that, but it doesn't always work like that. There's going to be good days and bad days. So what can we do when it happens? Well, first of all, sometimes we just need a break. I know a lot of families who homeschool Monday through Thursdays, and Fridays they always take a break. Teaching is hard. It's difficult. This will be my 16th year of teaching, and there have been lots of times when I have wanted to quit or haven't wanted to do it because it was so hard. So I guess my first advice for when you're homeschooling difficult times, know that it's going to be difficult. And the second thing is, you're not the only one who's going through a difficult time. Sometimes we think that we are the only one who's going through it. We look and we see all these moms. I think social media is a good thing and a bad thing, but sometimes we go on social media and we look at everybody's little perfect life and we think, panic mode, my children don't look that good or do that. And that's just because, we see that, but they're having a good day. Nobody puts on social media your bad days. Like, this is my hot mess day. This is a day when it's getting difficult. And sometimes it's not just a day. Sometimes it's a year, a difficult year. You're going to come across times when it's going to get hard. Sometime in your homeschooling, there will be a year that it is a hard year. And it depends on when you hit it. Some kids hit it in elementary school. Some kids hit it in high school. We all hit it very different times. But it will get hard for that student. I always tell all high schoolers your hardest classes you take in high school are Algebra 2 and Chemistry. Everybody comes in and they expect to be able to ace it. These kids, it's Some kids hit it in high school. They've never had to study before, and then all of a sudden they hit algebra 2, or all of a sudden they hit chemistry, and it's hard, and they don't know what to do. And you as parents don't know what to do. So sometimes it will get very, very hard for kids. It'll get hard for you. And you as parents, you know, as homeschoolers, sometimes I think we think that our child needs to get 100 on everything. And so we want to make sure that they get 100 on it. And so we keep going back and reviewing that. But you know, sometimes they won't. There's going to be things that are hard for them. There's going to be a subject that they're going to really struggle in. I personally am pretty good at math. I have a degree in math, but I am not a good writer. For me, writing is really hard. So sometimes kids will do great, and then they'll get in 4th grade when you actually have to write like essays or expect them to do more, and it'll get hard. So here's the thing. Remember, everybody's going to come across hard times in homeschooling. It's going to be hard. That's part of life. We have to be able to do that and deal with it. So when it gets hard, I always like to step back and say, okay, why am I homeschooling? It's so easy for us to say, I don't, blah, 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 throw our hands up and we can't do it. I think it's such a good idea for you to step back and say, why am I doing this? Okay, it's getting hard. Why am I homeschooling in the first place? Am I homeschooling because there's not a good private school for them to go to? Am I homeschooling for whatever reason? I personally think that we should, I homeschool because I believe that it's the best way to educate our children. I think that they're getting a better quality education, and that's important to me. So your why, if you can step back and say, okay, let me remember how I'm doing this. And most of us, you know, it's what has God called us to do? Okay, this is God's will for my life right now. What do I need to do? So sometimes we have to realize other people are going through it. We have to step back and remember, why are we doing this? Why are we struggling? Why is everything so crazy for us? And then the third thing we need to do is look and see, okay, what can we do to make it better? Sometimes we need to step back and breathe. And one of my favorite verses in the world is, be still and know that I am God. Sometimes we need to just take a minute and pray and be still and know that God has us. You know, so many times we're stuck. We feel like we're married to a curriculum. And always remember, if you're doing something and it's hard, there's nothing wrong with it being hard. But remember, you're not married to that curriculum, all right? You can change curriculums. You can modify that curriculum. You can make it better how it needs to be. Nobody's there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's. There's no wrong way to homeschool. A lot of times God will give you the extra grace and the extra, the mercy you need to figure out how to do that. The third thing I can say is, sometimes when you get into a curriculum, it can be, you feel overwhelmed. Oops. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, you'll feel overwhelmed too. And sometimes we need that. Take a break and reevaluate what you need to do. A lot of times in a classroom, we have to do that. You'll be teaching through a subject and they're just not getting it. And I feel super duper frustrated when my class does not get what I am trying to teach. Not just frustrated, but I get frustrated with myself, not with the students, because I'm not doing what I need to do. And you know, so many times I'll stop and pray and God will help me and give me the things that I need for that. So just know, when you get to those difficult times, it's not just you. You're not the only one who is going through that difficult time. People have gone through before and people will go through afterwards. So like I said earlier, I'm having a baby. And I have major freak out moments about it, okay? So it wasn't planned. It wasn't something we were expecting. It came in a different time in my life. I didn't expect that to ever happen. So I get to this moment when I think about it and I'm like, oh no, what are we gonna do? And then I hit panic mode. In fact, next week I have to, on Wednesday, I have to have our church is throwing me a baby shower. And on Wednesday, I have to have this list ready of everything I want, you know, like a registry, what I want. and I want to just put my name at the top and put everything. Everything baby. I don't know. I don't have anything at all. So, and I feel overwhelmed and I feel like it's scared and I don't know what's going to happen. And, you know, it's going to be a hot mess. I'm a hot mess. My child's going to be a hot mess. You know, to me, it's all scary. But you know what? It's kind of like that when we're doing anything with education. We just kind of have to know that it's going to be scary sometimes. It's going to be crazy. And we just have to go with the flow. I can't plan everything out. I really, really, really want to have everything in my life planned. Okay? I'm a teacher. I do lesson plans for 9 weeks, 12 weeks. I like to plan my entire school year out before it happens. And you know what? That's great to do. But sometimes the plan doesn't go through. Kids are not going to get every single thing that I want to teach, especially when you're teaching math, Algebra 2, or you're teaching something. We have to step back and say, okay, this is hard. I need to stop and reevaluate where I am before I go forward. So hopefully on Thursday we're going to have a few more. I'm going to add a couple. I found some really, really great devotionals I'm going to add to it that I thought were really good. But for me, I guess the thing that I want you to think today, if you know, because it's summertime and we're not in the middle of homeschooling, you know sometime you're going to hit a difficult time. When you hit a difficult time, you need to step back and give yourself a minute to reevaluate the situation and breathe, okay? And just be still. Sometimes we can't fix it right that second, and we want to. I'm a fixer. I want to fix everybody's problem right that second, but sometimes it's not going to happen. And it's the same thing in any problem, and homeschooling is no exception. And the third thing is, if it's hard, sometimes we just have to push through. Hard things are going to happen. Hard things are going to happen in our life. So hopefully you'll come back if you have any questions or suggestions. I'd love to hear other people's stories of how they dealt with something that was really difficult, and what kind of worked for you. If you had something that helped you, that you read, or a verse or something that did with that, if you could put it in the comments here, or go to our blog, www.thehomeschoolconnection.net, and go to the blog there, and you can post some different things. And I will be back on Thursday at 9:30 to kind of go over some of those stories and things. And hopefully you'll like us, share us with other people, share our blog with others. We're trying to hit 5,000 followers here on Facebook. So if you could invite your friends and like and share, we'd appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you all on Thursday. Hope you have a great day.